I'm a big rooter for CNN, but that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you were doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
And it is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should.
The audience didn't buy it for a second. This wasn't just a debate, it was a wake-up call. Maher wasted no time tearing into Colin's contradictions. She tried to play the role of the neutral moderator, but he quickly pulled back the curtain on CNN's bias and selective outrage. Colin stumbled in her defense, struggling to salvage the network's credibility, while the mayor kept pressing, demanding facts that never seemed to come.
In federal funding. Who advised the president on the legality of telling government agencies that they don't have to spend money that was already appropriated by Congress?
Well, as the OMB memo states, this is certainly within the confines of the law. So White House counsel's office believes that this is within the...
Caroline answered with calm confidence and a sharp wit. She reminded Collins that presidential appointments and dismissals are routine, hardly shocking. What the exchange really exposed was the media's obsession with spinning normal events into scandals. Maher wasn't fooled. He called out the bias and bad faith tactics fueling these manufactured controversies.
The lawmakers who say that they don't have the power to freeze this fund.
Again, I would point you to the language in the memo that clearly states this is within the law.
And all that happened on Friday night. The administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired. I think only 2 were left at DHS and the DOJ. And then yesterday we saw several prosecutors, I believe 12, fired from the Justice Department who worked on the investigations into the president. As you know, they are career prosecutors, therefore they are afforded civil service protections. How is the administration deciding which laws to follow and which ones to ignore?
So it is the belief of this White House or the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the executive branch, and therefore he has the power to fire anyone within the executive branch that he wishes to. There's also a case that went before the Supreme Court in 2020, Scala Law LLC versus the Customs, Bureau Protection. I would advise you to look at that case, and that's the legality that this...
Everyone could see her walk straight into the trap. Kaitlan froze, fumbling for words, and from that moment it was over. Marva seized the moment, flipping the script with questions that exposed the same double standards the media thrives on. MV didn't hold back, calling out the selective outrage, the slanted narratives, and the glaring inconsistencies. The mayor made sure the hypocrisy couldn't be ignored, and while Levin tried to handle it with grace, the exchange landed as a hard but much-needed reality. Check.
That if they bring lawsuits against you, the prosecutors who were fired, that they will succeed.
We will win in court.
And
yes.
Did he personally direct this, given they worked on the classified documents investigation and the election interference investigation?
This was a memo that went out by the Presidential Personnel Office, and the president is the leader of this White House.
Using the media's own tactics against them. When Collins stumbled mid-question, it was clear she wasn't used to facing the same level of scrutiny she dishes out. That's when Maher delivered the knockout punchecks, posing the selective outrage and blatant media bias. He made it plain. If Lee were a liberal, the coverage would be glowing instead of hostile. Levin had already stood her ground, but the mayor ensured the hypocrisy was laid bare for everyone to see.
I'm a big rooter for CNN, but that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you were doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch.
The mayor tore her argument apart, reminding everyone that genuine neutrality doesn't need endless defense, it stands on its own. If CNN were truly as balanced as Collins claimed, why was she struggling to prove it? Then came the bombshell, a list of CNN's blatant biases. From cherry-picked scandals to the way conservative voices are painted as extreme while left-wing figures get a free pass. By the end, Maher didn't just expose the hypocrisy, he made it undeniable. Collins looked rattled, her arguments collapsing under Maher's relentless rebuttals.
And I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road. That's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have this.
Another anchor tried the usual trick firing off rapid questions, slipping in loaded statements, and cutting in at every turn. But instead of backing down, CNN doubled down. Leaf, however, stayed composed and dismantled the theatrics piece by piece, exposing the bad faith questioning for what it was. Maher's point couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't journalism, it was political theater. And for once, CNN wasn't just losing control of the interview, they were losing the entire interview. The real aim was obvious: provoke us, manufacture a viral clip, and push the narrative that Leaf was unqualified.
Them trying to corner Levitt.
According to an IG report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just one year. And it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in one year, just over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like...
Something that wasn't true, which is, you said that they have found before that they believe there have been tens of millions of people who are receiving money who are dead on the Social Security list. The same report that you referred to said that none of those individuals are receiving.
Peter, did you watch the full clip of the interview that I did when I said that? And I said there are a lot of unanswered questions, and we suspect there could be tens of millions of people.
I'm saying the IG report.
So you just said what I said is not true. In fact, it was true. That's a suspicion that this administration...
Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump voters. They watch my show every night, and I think they know that they can trust me, that, you know, we call bull on every side, not just whatever leaning our audience may be, and I think that's something that people actually want more of.
I also want to thank you tonight, Sean, for fact-checking James Carville for the lies that he pushed on your program last week. Unfortunately, James represents the deranged and out-of-touch Democrat Party who continue to deny the reality that this country loves Donald Trump. And in fact, President Trump is enjoying his highest...
Another anchor tried the usual trick firing off rapid questions, slipping in loaded statements, and cutting in at every turn. But instead of backing down, CNN doubled down. Leaf, however, stayed composed and dismantled the theatrics piece by piece, exposing the bad faith questioning for what it was. Maher's point couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't journalism, it was political theater. And for once, CNN wasn't just losing control of the interview, they were losing the entire interview. The real aim was obvious: provoke us, manufacture a viral clip, and push the narrative that Leaf was unqualified.